Coming up.
Nobody loves a bracket, do they? Let's be honest.
Hello.
Nobody loves a bracket.
Do you want a secret?
We said this might be a little bit of a problem.
I've got 5.5 seconds to make my point.
Okay, so what are we doing?
Did you not find the stuff in italics more challenging?
Beat for beat, pause for pause, emphasis for emphasis.
Surprise!
It saves everyone a lot of time and a lot of money.
Oh my God, two different people.
Do not fret.
A job that's a little bit embarrassing and that I'll never tell my granddad about.
Shame is the thing.
You suddenly almost went vintage.
This is not entertainment.
And now, enjoy the podcast.
How do you say that?
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 Hello and welcome to today's episode of How Do You Say That? Sponsored by BritishVoiceover.co.uk. This is my co-host, Mark Rice.
Hello. And that's my co-host, Sam Boffin.
And we are about to have our weekly hit of voiceover fun with some scripts and a brand new guest.
So welcome to the practical podcast for voiceovers and, frankly, anyone else who works with voices. And if you listen on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, just hit the follow button and the newest episode will drop into your feed like magic every Friday morning.
Hooray. Now, this week, we are approaching our fun facts a little bit differently because we're giving ourselves a theme.
Yes.
Because it is really tricky when you get to episode 103.
Okay, so what are we doing?
Well, this week, Mark, have you got any fun facts about cheese?
Well, not fun facts, but insights from my life, because I don't like cheese. I'm not a big cheese fan.
That's an insight, right?
But the cheese that I do like, and this makes me this is worse. This is worse. Right. I quite like Dairy and I quite like squeezy Primula cheese.
Oh, Mark. That is so disappointing.
Oh, the disappointment is practically palpable.
That's so bad.
What about your insight to cheese then, Sam?
I haven't got any insights to cheese, and I don't know if I've actually said this one before, but I absolutely love Wensleydale cheese.
I think you will have done, because I will have gone, more Wensleydale grommet.
Well, I'll leave it right there.
Yeah,
I'll leave
not?
it right there. Have you said that before in your life?
I don't know.
Wow. I mean, that's my favourite cheese. And yeah, absolutely. So there you go. That's it. That's my fun fact. So, of course, we also have a very special guest, voice actor Emma Stannard. Hello, Emma.
Hi, Emma.
Hello.
Sam, should we ask Emma what her insight to cheese is?
Well, we can do. Emma, have you got an insight into cheese?
Well, it links nicely to your Wensleydale comment.
Yes,
I love a bit of Wensleydale and cranberry.
Yes.
But I'm the only person in the family that eats it. So it's that horrible where, like, you eat some, but you only get halfway up a wedge. And then it's like, oh, God, it's going sweaty.
So Emma trained as an actor and has been working as a voiceover since 2008. And her main source of work, dear to my heart, is TV promos. She voices promos for the BBC, for CBeebies, for Channel 4, for UK TV, and the Crime and Investigation Channel. And she's been shortlisted in that category 3 or 4 times at One Voice and has won once. Yes.
She's also been in video games, including Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga, and a few versions of Dwarves in Return to Moria, a Lord of the Rings video game. Also Warhammer 40k Dark Tide. Wow, there's some big titles there. Welcome to the podcast, Emma. Apart from cheese, have you got any fun facts for us that you've prepared?
Was I supposed to prepare fun facts? Here we are. Fun fact about me. Easily distractible. Currently taking a big old handful of DHA and starflower oil tablets because I am noticing that I'm becoming exceptionally forgetful to a point where, kind of like some of that cognitive function is on its way out. And I'm like, do I go and see the doctor or do I just keep popping the tablets?
And have they made a difference, Emma?
I take something that has a very particular level of all of these like DHAs and EPAs and how they balance each of those ingredients within the tablet. And honestly, if I take them regularly and I'm on the ball with it, I am so much better.
And on that supplementary note, let's have a look at our first script of the show and ask, how do you say that?
How do you say that? All right, this is something I did a couple of months ago now. It's a local radio commercial for a plumbing firm. Simple as that. Simple as that.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. I'm really looking forward to this.
Any questions?
What do you want with that phone number? Do you want 0800 622 7277?
622 7277. 0800 622 7277.
Oh God. Okay, I'll try and remember that. But were you a geezer when you did this, or did you just do it as Mark?
That is a good question, because the first line is different to the rest. Because the first line is like newsreader.
Oh my
then
God.
There's sirens and stuff, and you are then announcer, don't panic, blah blah blah.
Oh my God, two different people.
Gulp. I thought that it might be that way.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I will endeavour to do that. Okay.
Oh, Emma, Sam does not like 30-second commercials.
I don't.
You don't like 30-second commercials that are overwritten?
Yes.
Yeah, I love it when they go cheap and they've only bought 20 seconds and yet have just bought their 30-second script along with them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I'm very good, but I am not that good.
They've just bought their 30 seconds along with them. Hello,
Yeah,
I bought you this.
totally.
Yes,
Here it
exactly.
is.
Well, we don't. Okay. Right. Okay.
All righty. Let's see what you do with it.
All over the area, people are suffering from blocked toilets, blocked drains, waste gullies and soakaways at home and at work. Don't panic. Call the Filth Emergency Service. Plug Drainage on 0800 622 7277 or online at plugdrainage.co.uk and they'll soon get things flowing. Get free quotes, no call-out fee and they're fully insured for your peace of mind. Plug Drainage, unblocking the country 24 hours a day at plugdrainage.co.uk.
I'm laughing because you kind of were taking the piss after that.
God.
You kind of you suddenly almost went vintage about 3/4 of the way through.
God,
I don't know why you did that. It was funny, but I don't quite know why you did that.
Because it just, the thing just skittered away from me. It just was just like, I can't bear it. Anyway.
Similarly to me, you would get to a point where partway through your second paragraph, you're embarrassed to be there, wish that you weren't doing it.
Yes.
And unfortunately, you can hear that you're ashamed.
Exactly.
Or
Ashamed.
more the script. I don't like that top line of the script. I understand what they're doing, but also should we take the mickey out of potentially people that are suffering in my county? But no problem. I got plumbing to sell. Let's crack on anyway.
Well, that's the thing, isn't
and
it?
then you can feel that shame halfway through your read.
You're right, actually. I think shame is the thing.
The thing you didn't bring out was the pun of the whole thing, which is the filth emergency service.
I brought out nothing. The thing is that it's a really nicely written piece. It's just, no, seriously, it's just that I am inept at doing it.
Oh, Sam.
Well, it's true.
Emma, how are you at this kind of thing?
Hello.
I reckon Emma will nail it.
I actually quite enjoy the challenge of like hitting a time. So I quite like doing radio commercials when they give me something, it's a bit challenging, and they say, do it again, but you need to shave off. Oh, no, we might have to cut it because she's got to shave 2 seconds off. And then I'm like, no, don't cut it. Let me do it again, please.
Fine.
And I quite enjoy that sort of guesstimating. And I'm like, I reckon I got 1.5 off that time. And then, we all place bets and things like that. So I kind of get off on that.
Go on then, give it a go. Go on then, why not? Let's see what you do with it.
All over the area, people are suffering from blocked toilets, blocked drains, waste gullies and soakaways at home and at work. Don't panic. Call the Filth Emergency Service. Plug Drainage on 0800 622 7277 or online at plugdrainage.co.uk and they'll soon get things flowing. Get free quotes, no call-out fee and they're fully insured for your peace of mind. Plug Drainage, unblocking the county 24 hours a day at plugdrainage.co.uk.
I like that. You got the filth in there very nicely. That's all good.
Lovely.
And the name of the firm.
I don't know if you do these things, but I use my fingers when I count, doing things when they're in lists. So I found myself doing it there. You have to do it quietly.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
So get free quotes.
Yep.
I put a thumb up. No call-out fee.
Yep.
Index finger comes up. And they're fully insured is my third point. Boom, boom, boom. And then I always find that helps me with my intonation of hitting those beats in certain
It's a
places.
really good tip, that. It's a really good,
that is a good
visual tip.
And it was a lot more measured than I thought it was going to be, actually. Yeah. Your reading of it. A lot more measured. I thought you were going to be swifter. I've no idea whether it was to time or anything like that, but you it didn't feel rushed or over the top.
I was plugging it hard.
I quite liked the way you did "We'll soon get things flowing."
The old eyebrow raise.
Yeah,
Yes.
definite eyebrow
Same.
raise there. Very much so.
This voice doesn't sell stuff.
Interesting.
It can sell TV shows.
Yeah.
If you're looking at, so for example, some of my TV promos, I did things like 24 hours in police custody, things like that. SAS Who Dares Wins, a bit of Formula One. So it has got that kind of, we need a female, but also it's kind of, some of it is blokey content.
Yeah, indeed.
So I feel like I hit a lot of those marks. But this is a small firm within a small county. They're not going to look for gimmick necessarily. They need something clean. They need to get their money's worth out of this advert. They're probably a firm that they're pushing for this kind of marketing, but actually their money could be spent on letter writing on their vans. So I feel like value for money, they need a clean read that just gives the information out in a nice, clear way. That would be my initial thought.
Shall I show you what I did in the end?
Yes, please
I'd
do.
love to hear it. Yes, please.
All right. Okay.
Carry on.
All over the area, people are suffering from blocked toilets, blocked drains, waste gullies and soakaways at home and at work. Don't panic. Call the Filth Emergency Service. Plug Drainage on 0800 622 7277 or online at plugdrainage.co.uk and they'll soon get things flowing. Get free quotes, no call-out fee and they're fully insured for your peace of mind. Plug Drainage, unblocking the county 24 hours a day at plugdrainage.co.uk.
Wow. That had so much oomph, to use a technical term.
And
It had so much push and sell in that.
And you have these like the ends of your words. You let them, drag is the wrong word, but you elongate the end of your words and then you hear that nice, like you've got like a little gravel under there as well. And that sound continues at the end. And it's sort of part of, like you say, this sort of character that you would be the plug drainage guy.
Play, how do you say that?
It's worthwhile remembering that these are real scripts we've been working on, but we've changed the names and some of the details to avoid copyright issues. And, of course, you can find both of the scripts we're using today in the show notes of the episode.
You can indeed. And so to your script, Emma, this is, I don't think, something that we've had before on the podcast. Can you tell us about it?
Nice. I can, yes. And I know that you said we've changed, names and faces to avoid things, but this is a newspaper article. It's as it was written in the paper, and then that newspaper have made a podcast whereby they select 4 completely contrasting articles that have come out in the paper during the week, and then they put them all together in a bit of weekend listening that has little markers on it so that you could potentially skip through some of the articles to listen to the one in particular that you want to choose. Different voiceover artists. So you'd have, one podcast at the end of the week that has possibly 4 different VO artists reading these different articles from totally different writers. And I was terrified of these jobs when I first started doing them. As I say, most of my work is sort of TV promo, so I'm exceptionally spoilt in that, my stamina is practically non-existent. I can go into a session, say my short amount of lines, and, get back to my tea before it's cooled down. I know that I'm spoilt and fortunate in that way, but it means that when I come to doing scripts with a little bit more flesh in them, I panic and struggle and, worry that I'm not going to be able to do it.
I do notice that they haven't rewritten this to be read out loud. This is written as it is written as a piece of text. And that's difficult.
So it was a fun sort of chat with the person running the session of, look, I've got this. And there was an element of, what you do, bring to it what you would like or what you would feel. And then if it wasn't feeling right, we'd go through and take it out and go, actually, no, that's too,
Do you channel the journalist? Is that who you're channeling?
Yes.
As it were?
Yes. Yeah. Sometimes that makes your sentences a paragraph long.
Yeah.
Which, you do have to go back and go through and actually I need to do that whole paragraph again just because I didn't hit those last 2 beats because the phrasing was out. And so you really have to go right to the top again and do another big run.
Well, I'm happy to go first and happy to give it a try. I think this is quite difficult. And I think that both Sam and I are looking at this going, nah. So we'll see. We'll see what comes out.
Panic not and play.
This is not entertainment, Rebekah Vardy's barrister Hugh Tomlinson QC declared at the opening of the trial referred to at the Royal Courts of Justice as Vardy versus Rooney, but known everywhere else as the Wagatha Christie trial. To borrow a favourite linguistic flourish of Vardy's, not being funny, but what are you on, my learned friend? For 7 days I sat in the front row of the multi-million-pound libel trial and, to be honest with you, another favourite phrase of Vardy's, a phrase which led to Colleen Rooney's barrister David Sherborne QC to retort, well, I'd much rather you're honest because you are sitting in a witness box. In all my many years of covering fashion and celebrities in this paper, this was the purest form of entertainment I have ever seen.
Nice.
Beautiful. Well done.
Very nice.
I'm not sure
really
I got
cool.
the entire meaning halfway through that second paragraph. I think I almost lost it there.
Nobody loves a bracket, do they? Let's be
No,
honest.
nobody loves a bracket.
Yeah,
Good point.
Nobody loves a bracket. That's the phrase of the week. Nobody loves a bracket. Did you not find the stuff in italics more challenging?
No, because I figured that was
Okay.
the character. That was Vardy's character talking, which is why I kind of did that a slightly different way.
Yeah.
Do you want a
Yeah.
secret?
Yes.
I put that in italics before I sent it to you.
Oh.
Just to make it.
Oh.
This article was so long and there were so many lawyers and barristers and characters
Yeah.
speaking in it. People come in and out, and you've got to kind of remember where you are the journalist and where you are other people. And so those italics were not in the original newspaper article.
Did you then give them all slightly different voices then?
Like in an audiobook.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Sort of, yeah. But again, balancing it very delicately because
Yeah.
it's, a half-decent publication and, being sensible and not, again, for legal reasons, hoping that nobody comes to get you because it's just
Yeah.
an innocent podcast of reading an article and you don't want to take the mickey too much.
The only thing that I've done that is anywhere near anything like this was talking newspapers many, 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 many years ago. Now reading articles. But that's, I think, the most similar thing I've ever done to this.
Yeah, it's a place where a lot of people actually start talking newspapers.
Absolutely.
A lot of your, especially that top paragraph, or beat for beat, pause for pause, emphasis for emphasis, was almost exactly the same as how I did or would do it.
I'm going to take that as a win.
A win. A win.
And Sam, you now get that as the note, so that's good.
I can't remember what you did. So we'll have to just go with what I do. So that's it, yes. Okay. This is not entertainment, Rebekah Vardy's barrister, Hugh Tomlinson QC, declared at the opening of the trial, referred to at the Royal Courts of Justice as Vardy versus Rooney, but known everywhere else as the Wagatha Christie trial. To borrow a favourite linguistic flourish of Vardy's, not being funny, but what are you on, my learned friend? For 7 days I sat in the front row of the multi-million-pound libel trial and, to be honest with you, another favourite phrase of Vardy's, a phrase which led Colleen Rooney's barrister, David Sherborne QC, to retort, well, I'd much rather you're honest because you are sitting in a witness box. In all my many years of covering fashion and celebrities in this paper, this was the purest form of entertainment I have ever seen.
I like it, and I feel like you are far closer casting-wise to the original writer. So I feel like your natural sound very much suits this kind of material for sure.
This kind of thing does not worry me at all, whereas the previous one did. So all the worries that you got about approaching something like this is the sort of approach that I have when I see.
Interesting.
And it's not every ad either. When I think about it, I was thinking about it actually while we were talking earlier, and it's not that I get worried about every ad. It's just that ads that I would never be cast for in a million years are quite nerve-wracking.
When you know it's wrong, but you just agree, and you're like, yeah, I'll take the money, no problem. Whatever.
So
I'll turn up.
I wouldn't have been cast as the previous ad, but this is much more comfortable for me, I must admit. But that's not to say that I did it particularly well, but I feel more comfortable doing it.
That's a really good point for, budding VO artists and people, where you get messages going, oh, how do I get into it? Or I've always wanted to do that. How should I? I always say you've got to play to your strengths.
Yes,
like
absolutely.
stay in your lane. Yes, you can train and you can go left and right. You can get better at things, of course. But there are things that just naturally you will sit in your groove and it will work well and it will work, the longevity is there as well because you can keep doing it for all time. And that's, I think these two different scripts have that nice nature about them in that, one lane is for Mark and one lane is probably more for you.
If your casting is right, then it feels okay, regardless of what you're being asked to do.
Yeah.
It saves everyone a lot of time and a lot of money.
Absolutely.
If you get the right artist in to do the right script.
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Right, Emma, I'd love to hear what you did
I really
with
want to
it.
hear you
Absolutely.
do this, Emma.
Here we go. This is not entertainment. Rebekah Vardy's barrister, Hugh Tomlinson QC, declared at the opening of the trial, referred to at the Royal Courts of Justice as Vardy versus Rooney, but known everywhere else as the Wagatha Christie trial. To borrow a favourite linguistic flourish of Vardy's, not being funny, but what are you on, my learned friend? For 7 days, I sat in the front row of the multi-million-pound libel trial and, to be honest with you, another favourite phrase of Vardy's, a phrase which led Colleen Rooney's barrister David Sherborne QC to retort, well, I'd much rather you are honest because you are sitting in a witness box. In all my many years of covering fashion and celebrities in this paper, this was the purest form of entertainment I have ever seen.
Such definition between the characters. Beautiful. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I loved the characters. I loved the character stuff. Yeah, it was really, it kind of really brought it alive. It was much more journalistic than I was sort of expecting between them, actually.
Almost
so that was
harder.
Interesting to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to have an element, I sort of like waver accent-wise between my natural sort of London sound and then a slightly tidier version. And you can see there's certain elements of the script where my London like really pushes for the sake of the point.
Yep.
And then in other areas it's tidy. And my direction that I was always given with these pieces, obviously I'm a TV promos girl. I've got 5.5 seconds to make my point and get out. All I was told over and over again was, Emma, slow down.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Because you're this kind of, these articles are lengthy and someone's probably going to be listening to them either when they're at home in the kitchen, pottering around doing their Sunday batch cooking, or they're going to be someone on a bus. So they've got headphones in and it needs to be an easier listen whilst people are doing other things because the podcast episodes were quite lengthy. Mm-hmm. As are the pieces. And so I was just constantly told, Emma, slow down. And that was difficult for me when I'm so used to doing things where I have to hurry up.
Well, now we've got time for the wild card, people.
Fantastic.
Emma, can you pick one of the scripts for Sam or for me and give us a new direction, something different to do with it?
Let's go. It's got to be plug drainage. We're going to go for our radio script.
Obviously, the favourite.
Yeah, the favourite. I mean, it doesn't have brackets, so,
It doesn't have brackets, that's true.
No, it doesn't. It has soakaways, though.
Sam, let's give it to you because
Hooray!
I know you don't feel comfortable in that zone.
Yep.
So if I give you something completely, I'm going to flip it to see if we can make you move from that hate to love zone with this 7277.
Yeah.
Could you do it in the style of a true crime promo?
Oh.
I mean, how dark can we get these things flowing?
Yeah.
And see if you enjoy yourself a little bit more in that kind of zone.
Let's try this. Okay, then. All over the area, people are suffering. From blocked toilets, blocked drains, waste gullies, and soakaways at home and at work. Don't panic. Call the Filth Emergency Service, Plug Drainage, on 0800 622 7277 or online at plugdrainage.co.uk, and they'll soon get things flowing. Get free quotes, no call-out fee, and they're fully insured for your peace of mind. Plug Drainage, unblocking the county 24 hours a day, at plugdrainage.co.uk.
The darkness was there. I mean, the mic proximity works so nicely with that, doesn't it?
Yeah. Were you getting closer and closer and closer?
I think my problem with mine is that I found it difficult to vary the pace on that because I started in the wrong place. But never mind. That hey ho.
I mean, I feel like maybe we didn't make you love it as much as maybe we could have.
So shall I pick one for Emma?
Yes.
Let me think. I'd like you to be a little mouse. Tiny little mouse. Aww. With a tiny little voice who is quite cute. A cute little mouse. So think animation mouse.
Okay.
I'd love you to get the new script, but I actually think it works better with the commercial script.
So we've got deep, 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 dark, dark, dark to tiny, 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 cute, cute, cute. All right, here we go.
All over the area, people are suffering. From blocked toilets, blocked drains, waste gullies, and soakaways at home and at work. Don't panic. Call the filth emergency service. Plug drainage on 0800 622 7277 or online at plugdrainage.co.uk, and they'll soon get things flowing. Get free quotes, no call-out fee, and they're fully insured for your peace of mind. Plug Drainage, unblocking the county 24 hours a day at plugdrainage.co.uk.
You can certainly see the cute in there. That was so lovely.
Cute. So cute. That was lovely.
How did you change your body to do that? Because I'm really impressed by that, because it was a tiny sound.
Mm.
I think I went full tortoise, so my head retracted lower down into my body, and my neck disappeared into my chest, I think, a little bit. But also that, and I found I brought my hands up close to my face as well,
like a little mouse. Yeah, nice. Yeah.
So I guess physically, but also it made me more delicate around my microphone.
Interesting, yeah.
Bless that little mouse. He knows about drainage. That's the way in and the way out, isn't it?
He does know about drainage, absolutely. Right, Sam, you have to pick one for me now.
Okay, I want you to be
kind. Or
I am. I absolutely am. I want you to be a very worried rock climber, and I'd like you to do the second one.
Of course you would.
You're climbing a rock. It's probably even kind of, you know, how those rock sellers come out. And, you know, you're trying to navigate your way around.
Yeah. Worried. Can't reach the... This is not entertainment. Rebekah Vardy's barrister, Hugh Tomlinson QC, declared at the opening of the trial, referred to at the Royal Courts of Justice as Vardy versus Rooney, but known everywhere as the Wagatha Christie trial. To borrow a favourite linguistic flourish of Vardy's. Not being funny, but what do you want? My learned friend. For 7 days, I sat in the front row of the multi-million-pound libel trial, and to be honest with you, another phrase of Vardy's, a phrase which led to Colleen Rooney's barrister, David Sherborne QC, to retort, "Well, I'd much rather you were honest because you're sitting in a witness box." In all my years of covering fashion and celebrities in this paper, this was the purest form of entertainment I've ever seen. Oh, thank God.
God, you made it. I was really worried you were going to fall, actually, I have to say.
I was quite worried I was going to fall.
That was really good. I have to say that the you know, it's obviously it made it double the length, but it was amazing that I really felt you going round.
There was definitely physicality in there, wasn't there? And there was at some points where I felt like maybe you were looking for that next grip, that next bit of where to put your fingers, and they were like, shit, where was I on the script? And finding your way back, because I felt like you were definitely in your space.
I was climbing with both hands and at least 1 foot.
What's interesting is that I felt like your listener you allowed your listener to be quite close to you up on that climbing journey, whether they were like in your rucksack or something.
Yeah.
Whereas initially when I heard the direction, I assumed that you were going to be up higher than we were and that you were going to be calling the information down.
And almost actually visualising camera rather than person.
Oh,
Yeah.
is that what you...
Yeah.
What I had in my mind. So talking to a camera doing it.
Oh, I see. You
Interesting,
like on
yeah.
your GoPro or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You look good in a climbing outfit.
Well, thank you so much.
see it
The lycra's quite drippy now. But anyway,
Okay, yeah.
as always, we've put the scripts in the show notes so you can have a try yourself at home.
You can, whatever character you want to do. So, Emma, this is an exciting question, which I've not asked anyone before. Tell us a little about a very special niche of yours, about the adult channel.
Ah, yes.
I'd like to say it was an X-niche. I don't know if that
X-niche,
makes
nice.
it any more. Yeah, X-niche, old-timer niche. In the early days of my voiceover career, as it does, it goes in little patches where you're like, oh, it's a bit dry for a little spell. And I get a little tinkle from my agent and they go, Emma, listen, a job's come in. It's for Playboy TV New Zealand, and they're looking for someone who could do a Kiwi accent, and no one that can do a Kiwi accent wants to do this job. Do you want to do it? And essentially, it was the beginning of pretty much a 2.5 year stint of every single month going in and doing TV promos for the adult channel.
Nice.
And all of their other little channels to the left and to the right of them, including Playboy TV New Zealand.
Wow.
I owe so many of my current skills to that job. Because I would walk in and they would give me literally 5 pages, like a whole month's worth of promos. And yes, they were cheeky. They were X-rated. But during that, not only did I get really, really good at my timing, in that this has got to fit in 5-6 seconds.
Yeah.
So by the end of my stretch working with these guys, I know exactly how to make something fit in 5.5 seconds or, just under 6, and so that skill developed for me for sure.
Is the moral of that story never turn anything down because you don't know what you're going to learn from it?
I'd say so, but also you can have a past.
Of course, yeah.
Don't. I didn't enjoy, and I tell you what, those sessions, I met some of the nicest people, ignoring what was going on the screen to the right. But I met some of the nicest. We had such a laugh. And I got to play with accents so much.
I was going to say, did you have to do different accents for different things?
Yeah, because there were some things where, I can't even give you the titles of some of the programs that I had to do. But, there were grannies. There were, British women who had, large areas of their body, and I had to sound like a British woman with large areas of my body. And then quite often you get someone run up the stairs knowing that I was in, and they'd be like, oh, have you got Emma in there? Listen, Brazzers TV Europe want to do something for South Africa. Emma, can you do South African? And I'd be like, And with any other job, I'd be like, maybe, let me go home and practice. But without being given that time, I'd just go, look, I'll give it a go.
Yeah.
And quite often, sometimes I'd get it wrong, but sometimes I'd develop that skill or develop that accent.
Yeah.
And they'd go and get, Jeffrey from accounts would come up because he was from South Africa, and I just had to check with him, how do you say your websites,
Nice.
like the .za at the end.
Yeah.
He'd just tell me how they said it. I did it, and I go, look, does that pass for you? And he'd go, yeah, sounds all right to me. And it would go off, and it would go out into the world. And so a lot of my sort of accents I learned from doing that job. And then I actually had my daughter, so I had my second baby. And they, at a stage in my career where I was still anxious about asking other bigger firms and studios, can I bring my baby in? I knew those guys so well. All we did was talk about our families. Again, despite this weird stuff going on in the background that we were actually recording for. And I took her along and I left her with the girls in the office and they were all like cooing over my baby. And I just felt so fortunate that I could still go, earn my money and be able to feed my baby when I needed to. And, there are so many women that don't get to do that in their profession.
Absolutely.
And so, yes, I do owe a lot of what I do now, the time I've spent with my kids, the skills that I've learned, to a job that's a little bit embarrassing and that I'll never tell my grandchild about.
It's amazing how once you become really comfortable with, I don't know, with a director or a number of directors or a team of people, how much braver you become, how much bolder you become in terms of what you're prepared to do, prepared to take a chance on.
Because you trust them, though, Sam. That's the key to that, isn't it? Yeah.
It is, but also because they give you the confidence.
Yeah.
That feeling confident is at the heart of everything that we can do.
Yeah.
If we feel confident that we can do it.
It leads into everything to do with, your breath and stuff like that. When you're going, so I know that these scripts for these newspapers, not only were they already difficult, but the fact that I was freaking out about them meant that my breath wasn't in my body in the right place, which made it harder to do, which made me more anxious, which gave me less breath. But doing all of those TV promo stuff, I then felt I had such a strong skill base there that when Channel 4 phoned me and I went in and started doing stuff for them, it didn't faze me in the slightest. I knew, does this have? Did you want this to do? And where is that sync? And the silly things like learning all of the tech terms. Yeah. I could ask my engineer. So this bit of sync, am I going over the top of that or under? And then these tags, do they come before? And so I had all of that confidence within a session. Yeah. And then lo and behold, 15 years later, that's what I do.
Yeah.
Emma, it's fascinating to hear all of that. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I hope you've enjoyed it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've loved it. I feel like I'm elbowing my way in bit by bit, so I really appreciate you asking me to come on, because I feel like, hey, I've been welcomed on in.
Well, a reminder that all of Emma Stannard's details can be found in the show notes.
Yes, absolutely, and the scripts are there too, of course. So do hit the follow button on Apple Podcasts or Spotify and leave a review on Apple Podcasts.
Yes, please. That's it for this week. Thanks again to Emma Stannard. We'll be back next week with more scripts and another voiceover guest when we'll be asking, Emma, this is where we do it all together. We'll be asking, how do you say that?
How do you say that?